Last hour, hopefully it'll be nice and smooth. All right. So the first thing that we do when we manipulate ourselves sometimes is we cut our expectations. One of the biggest things that I do when I'm procrastinating is I believe I'll do it later. Right? So how often you postpone something to the next day or week just because you don't feel like doing it? So I heard a great quote. The magic that you're looking for is in the work that you're avoiding. And then I heard another quote. If you're running from the work, you're hiding from the success. So when I heard these quotes, what is it that you could possibly be avoiding right now? What magic could be in that could help you become a better person? It's probably going to take some energy. It's going to probably require some discipline. But the hardest walk creates the greatest destination. If you go through life mediocre, you're going to get mediocre shit. Usually they say the fastest way to point A to point B, scientifically they used to say it was what?
A straight line.
A straight line. They've proven that to be incorrect.
Yep.
The fastest from point A to point B is actually a linear line. So look at the difference between the two lines. You notice how it has a peak, and then it has a depth, and then it has a peak again. That's what life is. Life is never going to be this. Life is never going to be a straight line. There's too many distractions. There's too much going on. So if we are trying to stay straight, this could possibly be something similar to like swimming against current. When you try to always be straight instead of allowing life to happen, swimming with current. If I'm swimming with the current, I don't have to use as much energy. The water is pushing me to the shore. So instead of always fighting against your pain, maybe if you felt your pain and still maintained your responsibilities, life will balance itself out. I ask it all the time. How do you keep your balance on a bicycle? What do you have to do? Not a motorcycle, a bicycle.
To keep pedaling.
I got to keep pedaling. What happens if I stop pedaling? I lose my what?
Balance.
And my balance, right? So this is when you stop pedaling, you're going to lose balance. This is that you have to keep pedaling no matter what. Meaning, say it again? To get back up the hill, right? So it's kind of like, let's say this is a hill, right? And there's a rock up there. And you let the rock go. The rock is going to start off slow. But as the rock goes, it picks up momentum. And as it picks up momentum, it picks up speed. Hear me for a second. One day at a time is slow. But the more you do one day at a time, you start to pick up momentum. And then you could start doing more and more as you continuously practice something one day at a time. The rock doesn't start off with the speed that it has here. It doesn't start off with this speed. The rock had to get its speed built up. So you want to build up your speed. So what's going to happen is that things are going to go well for you in recovery. And then all of a sudden they're not. What are you going to do when they're not? Because in order to get to here, we have to keep going. This is the fastest way from point A to point B. Not this. So stop trying to do this and allow life to be this. Swim with current against it. Whenever there's resistance in your life, what are you doing with that resistance? Whenever there's resistance, whenever there's something stopping you from going where you want to go, what is it that you're doing with that resistance? Are you fighting against it, or are you learning how to survive in it? So then that could happen. We got to maintain our responsibilities no matter how difficult life gets, because it won't be able to balance out. That's what I've learned. What I've learned is whenever life got difficult, I stopped in my responsibilities. I started showing up late to work, started calling out of work. I wasn't cleaning the apartment. I wasn't washing the car. I wasn't taking care of myself. So if we're not doing those things, we're not progressing. We're not going to be able to get back up the hill. So you're going to stay down here. We're not going to be able to get up there. In order to get up there, you got to keep pedaling the bike. So when there's resistance, how much are you stopping in your life because of that resistance? Some stuff will stop. You can't stop everything. So I have 3 responsibilities that no matter what happens, I have to maintain them. That is wake up and get on my knees, read the Bible, and journal. That's it. I have to make sure no matter what, I do that every day, no matter what's going on. What is something that you're going to have that you have to maintain no matter what your day looks like? If you don't have it, find it. It's okay. Say it again. I'm with you on that. I think that's the cheat code.
I noticed once you start doing that every morning, it becomes habit. So it makes a difference.
What makes an action from going from a single action to a habit? What do we have to do? Repeat it. So if you want to develop good habits, remember I told you don't get what you want. You get what your habits produce. You want to be a CEO of a company. You're not going to be a CEO just because your name is down as CEO. In order to be a CEO, you got to have the habits, waking up before everybody, staying up later than everybody, not entertaining things that get in the way of your focus, right? So before I became a CEO, I developed the habits of a CEO while I was in treatment. I was a CEO, not egotistically or arrogantly. I wasn't walking around treatment acting like a CEO. I was behaving like a CEO. I was a CEO when nobody was watching. So who are you when nobody's watching right now? If you're getting convicted, good. God's with you. If right now you're starting to see that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing when nobody's watching, thank God right now that He's showing you that. Because Him showing you that, now it's on your mind. So now when you're not doing nothing alone, you're going to feel convicted. So in that moment, you either get something done to feel better, or you sit in that feeling and fucking hate it. It's either one or the other.
You showed me that last week. I went home and there were some dishes in the sink, and there was some things that were not folded, and I folded them and I washed the dishes, and I didn't say a fucking thing about it.
That's integrity. That's building her. Well, I'm just saying. She's not saying a boast, though, right? She's giving an example, right? But what I'm saying is, what are you doing when nobody's looking? Because what you're doing when nobody's looking, you got to understand you're not always going to be in treatment. You're not always going to have a staff member asking for a UA. You're not always going to have that structure. You're going to have freedom eventually. And when we have that freedom, what you're doing right now when no one's looking is going to be what you're doing when you're out there by yourself. Regardless if you made it happen in group and you made it happen, if you're only doing things so you don't have to hear what people have to say, you're doing it for the wrong reason. If you're just doing it because you don't want to hear a motherfucker, you're not doing it to help you become a better person. You're just doing it to not hear a motherfucker. So we're doing it and not even getting anything out of it. We're acting as if. That's what that is. Acting as if. Acting as if does not mean you become it. We didn't act like addicts. We behaved like addicts. When I behaved like an addict, I stood an addict. I behaved like someone in recovery, I stay in recovery. It's a practice. That's all this is. Anybody, when you go to a doctor, what do they have? They have a practice. Because that's what doctors are doing. They're practicing on us. There's no way that they could say they perfected on how to fix a human being. Because the surgery that works for you might kill me, and they don't even know why. Why? Because they didn't create the body. God did.
Like Joe Rogan said, he'll never go to the doctor again for his general health.
There you go. It's a practice. So recovery is a practice. You're going to make mistakes. You just got to learn from them, right? So we'll believe we'll do it later, but we won't. Here's a great quote. Procrastination is like a credit card. It's a lot of fun until you get the bill.
Procrastination is like masturbation. You're only screwing yourself.
Okay, all right. That's very politically correct. So what I'm saying is not getting the work done that I need to, but like watching television or playing video games or going to hang out. That stuff is fun. I enjoy that stuff. But when it comes time for me to be getting some things I want and I'm not getting it, but you are, Now procrastination is like that credit card bill. When you get that bill, you're like, fuck, I gotta pay all this shit now. But it was fun to buy it with the credit card without having the money up front, right? Be careful. What are you using a credit card for right now?
Fraudulent boosting.
Sorry, no, you're not. No, you're not. Out of abundance of the heart, the mouth will speak. So, so look, not doing the things you should do is another subtitle form of way of manipulating yourself. We procrastinate because we don't feel like doing the hard work or because we want to do something else. So if I'm not getting what I want, I can't blame anybody. I got to put it on me now. And if I'm not getting what I want, that means I don't have the habits to produce it. You want to first produce the habits of a CEO before you become a CEO. You want to produce the habits of a business owner before you become a business owner. Just owning a business doesn't make you a business owner. There's a lot more that comes with being a business owner. So if you want to open up a business, do you know financial stuff? Do you know organizational skills? Do you know payroll? Do you know these things? Because if you don't, start building the habits now. So then you can walk into the business. I'm not God, but if I'm thinking like God, I'm going to give you the broken down car right now and see how you take care of it. If you take care of the broken down car, I'll give you the Ferrari. But if you ain't taking care of the broken down car, God, you're not going to appreciate what God gives you. It's going to be more of entitlement than it is blessing. We're going to think that we deserve it because of what we're doing, rather than we're getting it because we don't deserve it. But we're getting it because Christ died for my sins. That's why I'm getting it. I don't deserve anything I got in my life. I don't deserve the peace. I don't deserve the joy. I don't deserve any of it. 20 years of active addiction, I've done some fucked up shit. I might have never pulled the trigger that killed somebody, but there's a lot of people not here today because of my actions. And I'm pretty sure some of y'all could say the same shit that we might be putting on us, that someone's not here because of something we did. Fine, I'm with you. What are you doing to celebrate the life that you have that that person doesn't have today? Because that's what I'm doing. I'm celebrating all the lives that are not here today because of me and my actions by living my best life for them right now and helping people that I used to take advantage of. Because that's what my life is right now. My life is about helping all the people that I schemed, took advantage of, everything. So, we procrastinate because we don't feel like doing the hard work or because we want to do something else. But look what happens. When we are procrastinating the work that we need to do, but we're procrastinating it with something we like. You notice when you're doing something you like, your mind is still on what you're supposed to be doing. So you can't even fully enjoy what it is that you want to do. So therefore you stop liking those things and you actually stop doing the things that you like because you're using it to procrastinate the work that you need to be doing. That's why we lose excitement and fun in some of the things that we used to have, because we used it as a procrastination tool. And then we lost the fun in it because we couldn't enjoy it because our mind knows I'm supposed to be doing this. You can't fool your subconscious. You can't. Yet we keep thinking about what we need to get done and we can't fully enjoy the activity. So we end up creating a twofold problem. Look, we have things that we need to do and we can't calm and relax what it is that we want to do. So now we got this horrible combination of just craziness going on in our head. Like we don't even know where to be. So now what are we going to sometimes do? We're going to go get high to quiet the noise. What people don't understand, the definition of recovery means to become to a normal state of mind and body. What some people don't understand is that the drugs was our recovery. I don't know about you. The drugs helped me become to a normal state of mind and body that I thought I needed.
Can you smoke weed and still be in recovery?
Yeah, 100%. You could be on MAT and be in recovery. Like Suboxone, because hear me out for a second. I don't think anybody gets to tell you you're not in recovery because you're getting high. Because we use the drugs to recover from something. So we were searching for recovery. We just found the wrong thing as the coping mechanism. We found something that made us feel good rather than make us better. So we have always been in recovery, in my belief. We need to find a better way to recover. That's it. So I don't think you get to tell people they're not in recovery because they're getting high. You get to tell them they're not sober and clean? Yeah, because that definition just means the absence of a substance. It doesn't mean that you're in recovery, though. I know a lot of people that just took, he took a 15-year chip, and he's a fucking piece of shit, though.
Yeah.
He hasn't gotten his kids back. He doesn't pay child support. Can't hold down a job. He fucks over his friends. Got up there, was able to take a fucking coin, and people clap for him. I'm not taking nothing away from not drinking. What I'm saying, though, is if that's all we're congratulating someone on, why even do more then?
Yeah.
If you're going to make me feel good just about not picking up, a lot of us ain't going to do more than that.
You're gonna be miserable.
Going to be miserable, right? So we create a twofold problem. We have things to do and we can't calm and relax. So if you really want to do what you want to enjoy, get done what you need to get done. Because I'm going to tell you right now, and this is just what I learned from my life, you could take it or not. Do some of the things you hate so you can do the things you love. If you're not willing to do some of the things you hate doing, that means you're not willing to fucking want to do the things you truly love. To me, hate and love is the same passion, just on a different perspective. I think it takes the same amount of energy to hate somebody than it does to love someone. You got to be really disciplined to hate somebody. You got to not be able to give them the opportunity to make it better. That's discipline.
Hate is the
Yes, but you get to choose who you hate. You don't
Everything's
get
a
to choose who you
choice.
love.
No, yes you do. You get to choose who you love.
Like the two things you can't, I was told, you don't get to who you fall in love with and what turns you on. It's the only things you can't choose for yourself.
Okay. That's fair. I don't take away anybody's perspective. Your perspective is your own. I appreciate it though.
True though, think about it.
So if you want to stop manipulating yourself and create the future you're dreaming of, you're going to have to stop telling yourself, I'll do it later. You got to stop telling yourself that you're going to do things later. We're killing time, and time is killing you at the same time you're killing time. What are you going to do with your time now? Nobody invests their time all 24/7, right? So what I sometimes do, because I want to be able to have fun, right? So I want to be able to spend time. It's fun to spend money, isn't it? When you have money and you spend it and you buy yourself things, that feels good. So we should be able to have time that we could spend, but only if we have time that we're investing at the same time. So look, we want to be productive, right? So in order to be productive, my time, I have slots throughout the day. I do not schedule I'm up at 3, 4 a.m., right? So as I say, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and so on and so forth, right?
You're up at what time?
About 3 a.m., and I go to bed about 12, not on my own. Trust me, I wish I could sleep. Methadone is a fucking hell of a drug. I'm off it 3 years, and I'm still not sleeping. So look, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. I used to set my day up on the hour, every hour, meaning having something to do on the hour, every hour. This is the worst fucking possible way to schedule a day. Why? Because this is what I've learned. Say I get 3 a.m. done, 4 a.m. Now life on life terms comes at 5 a.m. I get a call that I wasn't expecting. So now I can't do what I have scheduled at 5. So now 6 a.m. comes and now I'm trying to double up. I'm trying to get done 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. at 6 a.m. So now, you know what happens? Now I'm starting to get overwhelmed and it's fucking 6 a.m. in the morning.
And now you're missing 7 and 8.
And now, yes, so I changed it. I'm up at 3 a.m. 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. I have one task. Most of the time, the most important. The reason being, say I get the one task done at 5 a.m.
Going back to sleep.
No, I
Oh,
wish.
no.
Say I get it done at 5 a.m. I can now add something to my day because I still have 2 hours before 7 a.m. So I'm not taking off my plate. I'm adding to my plate. So when we're taking things off our plate, we're starting to feel discouraged. Like, fuck, I ain't going to get the day done. Instead, I allow the opportunity for life on life terms to happen. So now I get it done. Now I get something extra done before 7. Now by 7 a.m. I ain't overwhelmed. By 7 a.m. I'm enthusiastic about my day. Be careful in how you're scheduling your days. Not on the hour, every hour. The reason I used to do this is because I thought the more I had on my plate and the more I was doing, the quicker I'm going to get things. To be productive, it's not about working harder. It's about working smarter. Right? So I'm going to show you what I mean. Say that?
Efficient.
Yes. It's about working smarter. What I mean is, if the night before you're planning your day, what you're doing is you're working smarter. So what that means is that your effort now is now focused. Right? Remember we said how powerful focus is, right? My effort now is focused. So therefore my effort becomes intelligent to produce rewards. If we're working harder, your effort could be in things it doesn't need to be in right now. So therefore your effort is not intelligent. So therefore, right now, you might be putting in hella effort and not seeing no rewards in your life right now. Mm-hmm. And the reason we're not seeing rewards is because we're trying to work harder, not smarter. This work that you have to do is hard, right? We could all agree with that. That this is hard work. So you're supposed to work smarter and slower because it's hard. Not faster and harder because it's hard, because it doesn't make sense, but it makes all the sense. The slower you go, the quicker you get shit.
It's about stamina.
It's about stamina. The slower you go, the quicker you get it. Reason being, when you're moving fast, you're making too many mistakes.
Yeah.
Attention to detail, you can't pay attention.
You can't pay attention to detail. When I'm moving slow and patient, I'm not making mistakes. So therefore, when I'm rising, I'm going like this, right? This is when I'm slow. I'm rising, all right, I'm moving slow. I make a mistake, I learn, I'm learning, I move up, right? When I'm not moving fast, when I'm moving fast, I'm going like this. That's what it, so look, I moved up, right? But then I moved down. Look at all the energy I have to do to just get back to where I was. So we exhaust all this energy just to get back to where we were. We start looking at it like, yo, what the fuck is even the purpose of doing this now?
Yeah.
But it's because we're moving fast. Remember the rock down the hill?
Slow first.
Slow first picks up momentum. The momentum determines the speed. I do a lot of shit in my life. On the outside looking in, people think I'm this crazy, busy, on the phone all the time. I am not. I've been able to sustain this amount of work because of the momentum. My organization is the largest in the country when it comes to fentanyl awareness. I'm talking president, down to Congress, first person in recovery to ever present before the CIA, DEA, Homeland Security. I've been to FBI Quantico 4 times, Customs and Border Control, HIDTA. I've been on Dr. Phil, Nightline News. I could keep going. My phone book, senators, congressmen, lawyers, CEOs. I've been in recovery for 3 years. I moved to California 2 years ago. I've been able to do this in 2 years. Not because I'm moving fast, because I know how to work smarter, so my effort is towards things building me. So let's say I'm productive maybe 5 hours of the whole day. But for those 5 hours, I'm fucking hyper-focused though. So for 5 hours, I'm hyper-focused. It's all about that, and then after that, I get to enjoy my day.
That's important.
Working smarter. So maybe look at your effort right now. Where is your energy being put into? Once you can find out where your energy is putting into, now start thinking, is my effort helping me become something? Or my effort just doing this, keeping me busy? Because busy is another form of getting high. Keeping busy will help us not have to work on ourselves because we're staying busy doing something. Be very careful, because I did it last week. We're human beings. We are not human doers. Myself included, I get caught up on the doing of things, but it's not helping me become anything. Human beings, the things that we're doing should be helping us become something. The things that we're doing shouldn't be being done to kill time or take our minds off something, because it could be just like the drugs. You're doing that so you don't have to focus on something else. And we can manipulate ourselves that being busy is productive when it's not. Being busy is about how much time you're spending on something, if you've noticed. Being productive, the time doesn't matter, the result matters. So it doesn't matter how long it takes me to get my life together. All that matters is that I get my life together. Being busy, in 30 days I gotta do this. 60 days I gotta do that. That's just being busy. You're focused about the time spent on something rather than what you're becoming from that. It's very important to start working smarter. You don't have to do as much as you think you have to do. If you work smarter, you'll realize you might be doing the same thing in 3 different areas of your life. And we all say, I don't have enough time. Everyone has the same amount of time in a day. What makes somebody different is the distance they're willing to go for what they say they want.
Do you schedule like your whole days, like the day prior or the week?
I schedule the priorities. I don't schedule it like broken down. I schedule my priorities. These are the 2 main things I got to get done tomorrow. My hours of, the hours I'm most attentive is from 3 to 7 in the morning and then about 9 to 11 at night for some reason. So my 2 priorities always fall in those 2 time frames because I know that's where I have my most energy. So if you start paying attention, you will see what part of the day you have the most energy. That's where you should be doing the hard work, where you have most energy. We don't do that. What we'll do is like 20 little things when we have all that energy. Get to the end of the day and not do the big thing and then manipulate ourselves. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm tired because I did all those 20 things. But those 20 things just kept you busy. How productive did it make you? What did those 20 things help you become, if anything? Very important to work smarter. You already know how to do this. In order to get wise, you have to apply what you know. That's what wisdom is. Wisdom is the application of knowledge. You all know how to do this. You don't need someone like me to come in here and teach you fucking recovery. You know what you have to do. What makes us wise is when we start practicing what we know. So what is it that you know you have to do? Start practicing it and watch the wisdom that God gives you. If anyone knows about King Solomon, God asked him, what do you want? I'll give you anything you want. Does anybody know what he asked for?
Yeah, wisdom.
Knowledge first.
No, he asked for wisdom.
Yeah.
He asked for knowledge.
If anybody knows about King Solomon's riches, his material wealth, it's the largest treasure ever. But that's not what he asked for. He asked for wisdom. His wisdom allowed him to acquire wealth in a proper way. Bible talks about the word being more valuable than rubies, gold, and silver. But once you got wisdom, you will get that kind of stuff. Because the Bible's specific about the root of all evil, and it's not Satan. The root of all evil is the pursuit of money. So I'm going to ask this question. You don't have to answer it. How are you trying to make money right now? Because if you think you're going to be in recovery still pulling fucking schemes on the side, you're wrong. It's going to catch up. Look at our lives. How many times I stopped doing the drugs, but I lived the fucking lifestyle. I was still gangbanging. I was still doing all the shit. And my life still got fucked up. Be very careful on the pursuit of money. Because if you're allowing money to come in with the wrong intention, that is the root of all evil. The love of money. You need money to survive. God knows this. Bible talks about how God will allow one to accumulate wealth to just have it taken away and give it to one who will use it for good. So a lot of times you'd be like, yo, why does Pete Diddy have so much money? He's a fucking dirtbag. That money's about to go to someone who's about to go do God's work. That's how it works. Yeah. So I don't question why the world is a certain way. I ask God, how could I be of service? I see something fucked up. Not, God, why did you let that happen? Nope. God, how could I be of service and help them right now?
Yep.
Try to stop asking God why and start asking him how, and he'll speak to you. Right? So we end up creating a twofold problem. We have things to do and we can't relax and calm. So if you want to stop manipulating yourself, stop telling yourself you're going to do it later, because you and I both know we won't. If you say you're going to do something tomorrow and you actually do it tomorrow, when are you actually doing it though?
Right there, when you make the decision.
Yes. And when is right there? When you wake up tomorrow, what does it become?
Today.
So if you say you're going to do something tomorrow and you actually do it tomorrow, you're actually doing it today. You're never really doing anything tomorrow. It's always today, because all you're ever living in is today. So even if you say you're going to do it tomorrow, you're doing it today when you actually do it. So to say that we're going to do something later, we're not. We're only going to do it when we do it. So be careful. There's always something more fun to do to get the work done. Yet the only way to achieve meaningful goals is to do the work, even if no one is cheering you on. Even if no one is cheering you on, the struggle becomes admired when you overcome it. All those things that I said I was capable of doing, I went in there as someone in recovery. I didn't go in there representing myself as an addict. I went in there representing what the recovery community could provide to this nation. And because of that, the Recover Out Loud thing that I started went across the whole nation this year. We hit 6 states in 2 months, recovering out loud. Not hiding, no anonymous, none of it. Alabama, we did Connecticut, we did New York, we did Cleveland, some other states. I got like 10 states lined up for this year. Oklahoma.
What part of Alabama?
Albertsville. Meth Mountain, from what I'm told.
Go to Kansas.
I've been there.
I've been to Kensington, but not this year. I did Kensington, right?
That's where I
He
live.
said,
Really? I'm good friends with a kid named Nolan. They call him Ray.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. That's how I know Brady and them.
he said the struggle.
The struggle becomes admired when you overcome it. How many people, when you tell them you're in recovery, and they're not even addicts? Oh, good for you, man. Like they're giving you props because it's admired. The reason I feel we struggle, if you're struggling, one of the reasons why I think we struggle is because you're ready to get work done, but you're not ready to let go of things just yet. So that's the resistance. The struggle is that you're ready to go this way, but you're allowing something from the past to keep pulling you back. So that's the struggle. The struggle is because you want to do better. That's why you're struggling. I'm telling you that right now. The struggle is because you want better, but it's also a struggle because we're not willing to let go of things yet, right? So a lot of people have stress, right? See if I can help you see it in a different light. All right. Everybody could agree that everybody has stress? All right? This is what I think creates stress. We have something called expectations, right? And then we have something called reality. I-L-I-T-Y, whatever. Reality, expectations. Stress is the gap between these two. For instance, whatever age you are right now, if you expected yourself to have more, be more, and everything than what you actually are, that is creating stress. For instance, if I expect someone to be trustworthy and honest, but the reality is they haven't even learned how to be that for themselves, that's going to cause a lot of stress between me and that person.
It's like setting goals outside of your financial reality.
There you go. Very good. So the reality is you are where you are. That is reality. If your expectations are superseding your reality right now, you probably got hella stress in your life. Hella stress. So how do we shorten the gap? It's going to hurt, but there's a way to do it. You got to accept that where you are is where you're supposed to be.
I say that all the time.
Does that necessarily mean
Right
you
where I'm
lower
supposed
your
to be.
expectations?
No. By accepting I am where I'm supposed to be, this is what I'm doing. By accepting my reality, that where I am is where I'm supposed to be, I am now accepting every one of these I have made in my life. I'm taking responsibility for these choices. Maybe I didn't cause it, but I made choices after it that fucked my life up. If you cannot accept that your choices, again, this is going to hurt, I'm not coming at anybody. If you could accept that your choices got you in that seat, and your choices only, you will accept that your bad choices got you there. When you could, here it comes, when you could accept that your bad choices got you in the seat, you will start to see the power in making better choices for your own life. And only you need to make those choices, not other people.
No matter how big or small.
No matter how big or small. Amen. So the power of acceptance is not a weakness. The power of acceptance is not failure. Accepting that that seat is where you need to be is not failure. It's called surrender. You are surrendering, understanding that you are not making good choices for yourself. That's why you're here. Once we accept that, then it should create an opportunity for us to start learning how to make better choices.
That's okay.
100%. Accepting that that seat is where you need to be is not a weakness. It's not a depreciation of who you could become. It's just the reality of where you are. If I'm not living in my reality and in the present moment, where am I living? Either here
Fantasy world.
or here.
Yep.
I'm never in the moment. So if you're not in the present moment, how is the present you getting better if you're not in the present moment with the present you and why and how you got there?
So stop focusing on what we had and focus on what we have.
Yes, what we have and how what we have could get us more. Not that I need more, I already have enough. How could I use what I have to evolve into something bigger? Rather than how could I find something bigger to jump into? You want to build your structure. You don't want to buy a piece of property that's already built and jump into it. It's not going to feel like home. It's not going to feel like you. You have to build this structure. So they're saying, you've heard people say you got to live in the present moment. Don't live here and don't do that. Well, good fucking luck. How about that? How do I not live here? And how do I not live there? That's impossible. So my mind, because I'm a master manipulator, right? My mind, I wanted to find a way that all three could exist in the present moment.
So how do you coexist?
This is, I'm gonna explain it. First, I gotta honor my past. Honor means respect it. Respect my past, that I could be that person in any given moment. So in the present moment, if I could honor my past, meaning respect it. I'm a kid from the street. When people had a certain name on the street, you fucking respected them. Respect that the old you is possible to come back at any given fucking moment. Respect it and honor that person in the present moment. Learning lessons. So in the present, I'm honoring my past, right? So then in the present, that means I'm problem solving based on what I respect I can become. So I'm solving problems today so I don't become that person again. By problem solving today, look, I'm creating future opportunities. So in the present moment, by honoring my past, respecting my past, I'm learning in the present how to problem solve. By learning in the present on how to problem solve, I'm creating future opportunities. So I'm incorporating the past, the present, and the future to hold my present moment.
You gotta lower that board, Mike.
I know. I get very enthused. Listen, I live this shit, y'all. I'm not here to collect a fucking paycheck. Trust me when I tell you this shit doesn't pay. I live this shit. I am here so you could see that you could fucking make a better version of yourself. My life is dedicated to Yah, even if I don't even fucking walk with you every day. This is who I am 24/7. I wake up like this and I go to bed like this. I'm on fire for fucking God, and the Holy Spirit is working through me. This ain't me doing it. So if you want to tap into the power that I got, you're more than welcome to open this whenever you want to read it.
So you gotta do is pick it up.
All you gotta do is pick it up. So look, my present moment is honoring the past, learning, problem solving in the present. I want to solve problems today. I don't want to think about problems. I want to solve problems. Because I'm solving problems today, I'm going to get something out of it in the future. So when I'm future tripping and not thinking I'm going to get anything, I got to come back into the present moment, solve a problem. If I can't solve a problem, then I need to start learning from my past. It's impossible to be in the present moment and not think of the past and the future, in my opinion. Again, I got my GED in jail. This is not something I learned from a book. This is something that came to me when I was writing, when I was in treatment. I spent 12 hours a day on myself in treatment for a year in New York City. I didn't entertain conversations of war stories. I didn't give a fuck if people were getting high or not. I told them, you get high around me, I'm snitching on you. I'm not on the street no more. You're not my fucking code D. None of that shit no more. I don't knock when I leave the table no more because I'm not locked up. I don't do a lot of the things I did in my whole life. You want to become a new creation, you got to stop behaving the way you used to behave. We got to stop the behavior. You're going to start seeing it now after this group if you paid attention. You're going to start seeing where you're spending time, where you should be investing time. You're going to start seeing these things if you pay attention. Why? Because you focused on something today. And what you focus on, you attract. So when you leave here, you're going to have distractions. Life's full of distractions. Distractions are going to make you lose your focus. But how do you know you're losing your focus? You're going to have feelings you don't like. Feelings is your biggest weapon against life. When I feel like shit, that means I'm focused on something the wrong way. When I'm walking with God, I'm good. When my focus is off of God, I feel incomplete, I'm insecure, I'm worrying, I'm fearful. All these feelings mean get closer to God. That's what they tell me. When I'm worrying, get in your Bible, bro. When I'm fearful, get in your Bible, bro. Pray. If I think I'm the man, start repenting because your ego is starting to think you got this shit. We need to stay focused with whatever spiritual God or whatever it is that we've chosen to follow. Right? So staying. Sometimes if you don't know where to start, I read a book. Where do you want to end up? If you don't know where to start, look for where you want to end up and now work backwards. Right? Like if you want to end up A, B, and C. All right, A, B, and C is the end result. What are all the actions that have to take place in order for A, B, and Z to exist? So what are you doing for the future self today? What are you going to do today to make the future you an opportunity? What are you going to do today to make the future you even exist? You want to love yourself in the future and have people love you? Learn how to love yourself today. You want to make your future better? Stop doing the same stupid shit today. What are we going to do today for the future self? Is that where our mindset is? Are you trying to build for the future? Or you're just trying to get through the day, which sometimes they say that's all you need to do. I tend to think we sell ourselves short by telling ourselves just get through the day. You could do more than just get through the fucking day. Way more than that. I'm going to push people. I'm going to push your minds. I'm going to push. Your blood ain't going to be on my hands. I'm telling you that right now. I'm going to come in here and tell you what I've learned and what I know is to be the truth. And I'm going to share it and what you do with it. I'm not going to come in here and waste your time and sell you some shit that sounds good. I'm not going to do that. Conviction is good. It's a blessing. You have to be walking in the Spirit, by the way, in order to see conviction. If anybody reads the Bible, after Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist, Scripture, not my words, then the Spirit led Jesus into the wilderness. Does anybody know what happened to Jesus in the wilderness?
Got tempted.
He got tempted. So the Spirit led Jesus to the devil. Whatever God's walking you in, he's going to walk you out of. So if he's walking you through your conviction, he's going to walk you through it to the other side. But if you're not walking with God, he can't walk you through it. So if you're feeling conviction, you can only feel that because you're with God. Because I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of things in my active addiction that I did that I had no fucking conviction about doing it.
Right.
I robbed people. What's that?
No.
Oh, I had no conviction. I actually made it like it was okay. Because I wasn't
Drug dealer, that's okay.
Yeah? Because I wasn't walking with God consciously. Now that I'm walking with God consciously, the conviction is all day long, y'all. All day long. And he's building me up for something, because this shit's coming left and right now. I'm seeing all the lust. I'm seeing all my self-righteousness. I'm seeing all my gluttony, all of it. I am seeing every deadly sin you could think of is present in my goddamn head all day long right now, for months. Since I opened up that Bible and started preaching and becoming a pastor and becoming a member of a church. Ever since I did that, I am seeing everything, because the only way you're truly going to understand what grace and mercy is if you are shown how horrible of a fucking person you are. And there's nothing you could do to make your life better. That what you have is a gift from God. But the only way to see that is being shown your sinful behavior. I got to be shown how sinful I am to see how much I need God. That's the fear of God. The fear of God is life without him. I am not going to teach you God's wrath. You already know God's wrath. That is, I think, the wrong way to approach Christianity for someone that doesn't believe in God, telling them what God's going to do to them if they don't believe in God. I'd rather show you God's love, because that exists just as much as his wrath. You don't got to worry about his wrath if you know his love, though.
Yeah.
If you know his love, you ain't got to worry about his wrath. You ain't going to get it. Jesus died for that. You ain't going to get it. I'd rather teach you God's love, his wisdom, his presence, who he could be for you, rather than him being against you. I don't see how that works. That's the old way of doing it. Scaring people out of hell instead of loving them to heaven.
How would you explain gluttony? What is gluttony?
He said what?
Gluttony is like just eating too much. Yeah, having too much, having more than you need to have.
Food, right?
Yeah.
No, you got
Like,
Why should
no,
yeah.
it's a want that we make, that we need more and more of it.
More of it.
Right? Like, let's say I have enough money to pay my bills, but I
But
go
I ain't
pull a
got enough.
scheme to go put more money in my pocket. I didn't need that money. You know what I'm saying?
What is, when you're saying when you're walking in conviction, is that you being aware of the shitty things you're thinking
Yeah.
and
Yes.
doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get
Being
When
shown
you're saved, you get conviction, so God puts conviction on your heart, so you
so we could change.
Yeah, it's different. You don't, there's people out there doing shit that don't feel nothing.
And
Yeah.
actually,
You're convicted
just
and
going
like,
back
you
through
know,
your past, and
you got
that's where you're
Christ
gonna
and
find
you feel
God.
I was just making sure, that's
yourself
not
Yeah.
what I was
It's like going through it.
I'm gonna break it down
go
real
through
quick, right?
Everything you went through.
Because there's only one thing that's gonna really create
Create
change in your life.
It's your past.
Yeah. From my experience, and you might agree after I say it, there's only one thing that creates change.
Oh, pain.
Pain is always going to create some kind of change in your life. Look at active addiction. You went through some kind of
Pain.
that changed the way you were living your life. Say you hurt your pinky. It's going to change the way you use your hand. Conviction is this.
This.
Why? Because the only way God can get my attention is through pain. When my life is going good, my prayer life doesn't match up to when it's bad. When my life's going good, sometimes my reading ain't as much as when my life is going bad. So pain is God's way of getting our attention. Because success makes you think you're doing something right, and it makes our ego think we're doing it, and it actually removes us from God. Success will remove us from God, because then we start to get very egotistical and arrogant and entitled.
Yeah.
So God's like, all right, I gave you a little bit. Let me humble
take it.
your ass a little bit and bring you back. Because
Yeah.
look, when you lose something, it sucks.
It sucks.
Painful, right?
Yeah.
But what happens when you gain back what you lost? It's even more greater than when you originally had it. God is not cruel. Suffering leads to prosperity.
Feels like it sometimes.
But that's what it is. It's God knows The
What's
reason
that
I
say?
rock with Jesus is because I'm from the street. And the reason I like Jesus is because Jesus is the only God in every religion that came down, the Word became flesh. He became man. He felt, Jesus wept. Jesus flipped tables. Jesus felt human feelings. Jesus was tempted by the flesh and fought it. Jesus fulfilled all prophecy of living a righteous life so we can now go to heaven. Adam failed at it. Adam wasn't supposed to do what he did. You can blame the woman all you want. It's not the
No,
woman's
it's one
fault.
woman's
It's
fault.
the man's fault.
The man's fault.
The man is the leader of the relationship. Adam was supposed to tell Eve, no. No matter what Eve tells him, we should. God didn't tell Eve not to eat the apple. God told Adam
To tell you.
not to eat the apple and to pass it along. So those of us that are, it's the woman's fault, to be honest with you, wisdom is described as a her in the Bible. Wisdom is described as a her in the Bible.
like Mary.
There's a specific type of woman
Mary.
that the Bible talks about, the adulterous woman. That's a very specific character of a woman. That is not the generalization of women across the world.
Samaritan woman.
The Samaritan woman was a prostitute, yeah, but I'm talking about the adulterous one, the one that leads men to the slaughter, right? That's a different type of woman. So what I'm saying is, pain is the only way to get your attention. Pain creates change. Until the pain of your fucking active addiction, until the pain of that life becomes so great to create the change of recovery, it ain't gonna happen. So if you're running from your pain, you're running from your recovery right now. It's the only way to recover is through pain. Someone goes for surgery, they have to recover from surgery. They're still in pain, even though the surgery was a success. You got off the drugs, surgery success. You still got to recover, though, from the pain. Just because you got the drugs out and surgery was a success, you're off the drugs again, you still got to now recover from that surgery. There's a lot of pain that we went through that we've been avoiding. A lot of pain. Physical pain, emotional pain, spiritual pain, all of it. So if you're being convicted, the Holy Spirit is trying to change you. There's a difference between conviction and what the enemy does. God is never going to make you look down on yourself. Conviction is that soft voice that shows you what you're doing wrong, but doesn't make you feel like a piece of shit. Makes you realize what you need to
Makes
change.
you wanna change.
You know that voice. And then there's the voice that makes you feel like you're a piece of shit because of what you did.
Yeah.
That is the enemy. So I know you know the difference between the two voices. If not, pay attention now. When you're walking through your days and something comes up like, oh shit, I'm still acting like that. All right, thank you, God, I'm going to work on it. But then you'll get the one like, you know why, I ain't fucking never going to change. That's the enemy. You got to know how the enemy speaks to you. For instance, if I went to a magic show, and you know how they have that box,
Oh, they saw him half.
and they saw it
Saw
in
it
half,
half.
I'm not entertained by that trick.
It's bullshit.
You want to know why?
Because you know that it's not real.
Because I know how the trick is performed.
Yeah.
Stay with me. If you could pick up on how the enemy tricks you,
Yeah.
you won't be entertained
Mhm.
by his tricks. Manipulation is a way the enemy tricks us.
And that's what they do with the sawbox. They manipulate
Yes.
you with things
They're,
that-
yeah, magic is just manipulating what you see.
With vision,
One of the
yeah.
little sides.
Yeah, magic is just manipulating what you see. That's why you can't believe what you see. That's why you have to believe in something that is unseen. That's God. That's what faith is. Faith is the belief in something you cannot
can't
see. But God uses us because we're created in the image of God. So then there's moments where I can reflect God's wisdom. There's moments I reflect His love. When I do that, that makes people feel blessed. You learn something. So God is using me to show you He exists. God is not using me so you could call me the fucking man and think this is coming from me, because it's not coming from me. I'm a vessel. I have no educational background in any of this. So explain to me how I know as much as I know. It's God's wisdom. The more I read this, the wiser I get in life. This is the only book I need to read. Every book is derived from that book. Every book. So, pain. So now we have to learn how to deal with this pain because we can't run from it no more. Recovery is dealing with pain. Running from pain is addiction. It's that simple. Active addiction, we're running. We're running from what we need to do. Recovery, we're running towards it now. An eagle. An eagle flies towards the storm. If you know about an eagle's life, there's God in everything. I'm going to show you something.
Eagles in everything.
So eagles fly towards the storm. When they hit the storm, they rise above the storm. After they rise above the storm, they ride the storm back above it though. So they use the wind and everything from the storm to save them above it. Listen to this shit for a second. Addicts run towards the storm. Drugs.
Stay in it.
In order to beat it, we need to rise above our addiction, right? Check this out. In order to stay in recovery, you have to ride your addiction. You have to be learning from your addiction every single day in order to stay in recovery. So we are like eagles. We flew towards the storm, addiction. We rise above it to get in recovery. And then to stay in recovery, you ride your addiction back, meaning allowing your past to keep you in recovery.
I'm a bald.
Bald eagle. You and I both, brother. You and I both.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to learn how to use our past, basically.
Your past predicts your future.
Yes. We're going to have to use your past to keep you in recovery. Because the reason that we're not succeeding is in our past. I bet you it's probably 2 or 3 things. It's usually not more than that. It's usually like 2 or 3 things that always brings us back into the life.
Yeah. Friends.
If you could learn what those things are and not do those things, watch how much longevity and sustainability you have in recovery. It's an individualized walk, just like my relationship with God is personal. My relationship ain't gonna look like yours or yours or yours. No, you are allowed a personal relationship with God. Nobody gets to tell you what that looks like. My job is just to tell you to read this. So then this way I know you're getting God if you're reading that. That's my job for me as a preacher. My job is to let you know that Christ died for us, what that means, and push you towards Him. Because I'm a sinner, sinning just like you guys are sinning.
Yeah.
But if you're going to follow me, then you understand I'm following Christ. So I don't have to worry about people following me today, me leading them off a cliff, because I'm going to lead you to Christ. I'm not going to lead you to what I want. So what are you going to do with this now? Remember, we need to endure to have stamina. In order to have a high tolerance to something, we need to get a lot of it. We need to learn how to start dealing with this. Life is about how you deal with it, not about what happens to you. Recovery is the work. The 30 days is a reward. The 60 days is a reward. The job is a reward. The money in your pocket, a reward. The apartment, a reward. Not your recovery. Your job is not your recovery. The car is not your recovery. The money in your pocket is not your recovery. Your relationship with somebody is not your recovery. Your recovery has to be able to produce that reward and help you keep that reward. I made my recovery things. So then once I started losing some of those things, I started to lose my recovery. So now since my recovery is about the work, I don't have a car right now, but I'm still making it happen. If my recovery is about my apartment, I lose the apartment, it's about my work. The recovery, the success is in the work. That's the success, the work. Everything else is a byproduct of that. Success is a byproduct of failure. What does that mean?
You gotta fail.
You have to fail in
Success does not exist without it.
Fail.
It just doesn't. So therefore, how do you turn your failure into success?
Right here.
That's it. My definition of failure.
Don't give up.
Perseverance, don't give up. My definition of failure, it's not the opposite of success. It's on the path to success. You see how my mind changed the way I see failure? If you think failure is the opposite of success, you're not going to want to fail.
Failure's part of it.
Failure is the path to it. So my definition of success, going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm.
Yep.
That will make you way more successful than anything. Bible says perseverance through your trials and tribulations, you are given the crown of life. So even if you don't believe in Jesus, let me break it down logically and you'll see that there's truth in it. Don't give up when life gets difficult and you'll get what you want. So even if you don't believe in Jesus, believe in what you just heard though. There's truth to this stuff. It's how you suffer that will determine how you prosper.
You sure right.
The people that are uber successful are uber failures. Their failure teaches them an enthusiastic way.
Like the
Instead
Starbucks.
of failure, yeah, like the Starbucks guy, I say it all the time. He was told no 269 times before he got the first bank loan to open up the first
He
Starbucks.
made failure look good.
Yeah, he told
Thomas
me.
Edison, the light bulb, failed 1,000 times.
Hold on.
Okay.
I just said Rob got Tesla for his information. Edison's a fraud.
Okay. So, he's a fraud. But his quote was, I didn't fail at inventing the light bulb 1,000 times. I learned how to invent it 1,000 times.
My fault, man.
No, you good. Listen, you're right. Listen, Tesla was on a whole nother level. When you're that intelligent, people are going to steal your work. It's just the way the world is, right? But everything. Yeah, Tesla did everything. So look. So how is this going to push you forward now? Rather than this stop you or make you go back?
Turn that pain into motivation.
Turn the pain into purpose. Turn the pain into a lesson. When you learn from your pain, you get wiser. When you don't, you get wounded.
I feel like it's the only way to go. It's like if I didn't, all that was for nothing.
Did Jesus have to go through pain?
No.
No. Homie could have just came down and was like, yep, that's fixed. Yep, that's fixed. But we can't do, yep, that's fixed, and we can't. So Jesus is a servant leader. He leads, but he washed feet, y'all. Jesus washed feet.
Yeah, that's the best thing.
What I'm saying is, he went through pain because we're going to have to go through pain. And this is, when I first started to walk, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to die and go to heaven. My fucking life is good. Once I said that, you know what happened? I started to struggle. And what I realized is if I don't struggle, heaven doesn't seem attractive to me. Because at heaven, there is no pain. There is nothing. So we have to endure that pain here in order to stay obedient to him, to get to a place where there's no more of this. This is your greatest motivation. It should be anyway.
You said it's how you suffer
That will determine how you prosper.
Okay.
And that success is a byproduct of failure. All right, any questions? Got you all speechless?
Yep.
I tend to have that effect on people, especially women. But everybody's good?
I just want to say, I've been cleaning up for 4 years.